Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Another fantastic sunny week. And we have VE Day this Friday, the 8th. So please make sure you've got your bunting out and your party on the porch. So let's start today introducing a fantastic fellow, done loads of my courses, an accomplished, experienced physio, Stuart Ayles. Let's bring him in. Let's hopefully get a bit of video on him. We've got a bing bong. Okay, pal, can you hear me okay? If you unmute yourself, I can unmute you if you want. Oh, right. You unmute yourself then. I'm unmuting you, and then you're unmuting, putting yourself back on mute. How you doing, pal?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
It's an early Monday morning, I know. Yeah, good. Been chasing a few things this morning, including, if you've seen us doing the dress up, me and Oscar, keeping people entertained. I ordered him a Robin suit to go with my Batman. And to be honest, it'll fit me. He's for a guy about 6 foot tall and he's 8 years old. So I think we need to do a swap on that. But good to see you this morning.
Like Del Boy and Rodney.
Yeah, it is pretty much Del Boy and Rodney, but we're getting beeps and claps and cheers and smiles. So that's what it's about nowadays, isn't it? So trying to entertain people, because work's pretty quiet, as I'm sure it is for you, which is kind of why I'm doing these. Let people know what you're doing, how your business has changed, what you are doing business-wise, a few thoughts on kind of how it might change our industry, because obviously you're doing very similar to myself now, but your background was in the discipline of physio, working with athletes, especially football players and stuff. So what I want to do is keep it kind of informal, have a nice chat, keep it relaxed. Generally running for about half an hour, although yesterday one was 50 minutes and one was 1.5 hours. So I'll just keep the camera rolling, mate, for as long as you want to chit chat. Stuart, by the way, is a phenomenal gentleman, done lots of courses with myself, which I'll let him explain. But his background, he's working, as I said, in elite sport with professional football players and the like. But he's a bit shy about himself, which is why I've asked him to come on, because people like him need to pop their head above the parapet, as it were, and let people know who they are. Because even just this morning, I don't know if you've seen it yet, Stuart, I put a post on, loads of people offering online training, nutrition advice who aren't qualified, but now all the qualification courses seem to be going online, which isn't so bad. But to get two of the big players, without mentioning names, if you want to see who they are, they're on my post, folks. Two of the big players in so-called qualifications in personal training, notice emphasis personal, and I know we're doing it from home, but are offering 100% online tuition, no exam, no gym experience tuition or assessment. So, I hope the caveat is they can only do training via, webcams and at home with no equipment, because the minute they go into the gym with heavy weights, I hope their first day qualify, because it's a freaking dangerous scenario. So the industry's been dumbed down, as I know you appreciate, Stu. I've been in it 27 years and I've seen a lot of it go downhill, because every freaking man, his dog and cowboy wants to be a personal trainer, thinking it's, a celebrity glory, kind of well-paid job. But it's something that you, like me, have studied for years to achieve anything like the level that we work at. And now these guys and girls can pay £29, watch a couple of videos and they're qualified. When the real world opens up, God help the people that are hiring them. So we may have a little chat about that. But first of all, this is Stuart. Let me shut up and let him go for it. So tell us a bit about yourself, pal, where you are, where you're based. We'll make sure we give you a plug. Let me know any contact information you want to put on, be it, your Facebook page, your Instagram, your telephone, your website, your email. We'll make sure people can get in touch with you. But you've got a long background, like myself. We've been in it a few years. Not that you look it, mind. Not that you look it.
You're going to mention the wrinkles.
I'm not going to mention the wrinkles. At least you haven't got to worry about the hairdressers being closed. Look at the state of this. So, give us a bit of background on you, if you will, please, pal.
Certainly. Right, well, I'm based in Ipswich, and my background is as a physio and S&C coach, sports scientist, whatever you want to deem it, in professional football.
Yep.
You're given many titles, depending on what club you're working for, etc. So my responsibility for about 18 years I spent in professional football, responsibility for getting the players fit, keeping them fit, looking after them when they're injured, treating the injuries, rehabilitating them and getting them back to match fitness. But I always felt the with the degree, the physiotherapy degree, I always thought there was more to be done. And same with the exercise science degree. There's always, they limit you on, they isolate, they don't overlap.
Right.
So I was always looking for something that brought everything together. So as you know, I went on many different courses to improve my knowledge and skills and everything. And then one fateful day many years ago, I was at a functional nutrition course in London, and some guy in Union Jacks.
Really?
Yeah.
How could that be?
I got
How
no
corny
idea.
would that be?
Got no idea. And he started, and he didn't stop for God knows 45 minutes, an hour and a half, I don't know. But I was, you know, it was really, really, it hit home with me on the level that I understood and the level that I wanted to know. And ever since then, I've been on many of your courses.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, learn from the best.
Oh, thank you, mate. So what you just mentioned there, just to let people know, it's changed a little bit now in its format, but it was a functional sports and nutrition academy down at Cavendish House. Lecturing and presenting were myself, fantastic Amara Cadogan, who has been over from Copenhagen in Denmark to do many masterclasses. Stuart's attended pretty much all of them, teaching advanced testing, assessments and interpretation of DNA, of gut health markers, of immune system, of inflammatory. So it's not just myself that I get to present to, you know, my students, because they're such high level, such as Stuart. You've heard phenomenal background, 18 years with footballers. Tell you what, mate, having worked with some footballers, you've got more patience than me on that one. And I know we've swapped a few tales, but there's good ones, you know.
Yeah.
Danny the Geezer is somebody that he brought on one of my courses, so there's good guys as well. But yeah, there was Ian Craig, Pete Williams, etc. So some good people lecturing. As I said, it's changed now, so myself and Amara have kind of stepped back from it. But what I want to deliver, and what I make it clear when people come on my courses, is in depth, the latest findings, evidence, you know, based, peer-reviewed journal information, not government guidelines, not the generic stuff other people are churning out, and especially now the online stuff going to be horrendous. It is very challenging. You've done my courses, mate. You know that they're in depth. You know, you're looking 4, 5, 6, for some people 7, 8 hours for a written exam. Then you got practical. Then you got presentation skills or consultation skills. And the same when I do the master classes. You know, I do not profess to be the expert in everything. So people like Amara Cadogan, I mean, when you came up to Birmingham when we put the masterclass weekend on with the gut health, as you know, we had people from, geez, where do we have? Portugal, we had Denmark, we had Norway, we had Iceland, we had GPs. These are the standards of the students that I deliver to, I get other people to deliver to. And this gentleman, Stuart, is of that standard. He really is that high level. So it's a, you know, a great honor for me that you would want to come and study with me, mate, because it's always a two-way thing. I still remember on the nutrition course, you gave a phenomenal delivery on all things thyroid and thyroid issues, and you were dead shy. And you basically, the class were just like open-mouthed at the end of it because the detail you put into it. And that's what I like, is to see people like yourself get the platform to show others, but also yourself, the standard that you operate at. Because I don't think you give yourself credit, mate. I really don't. So since you've, you know, kind of studied with me and others, where did your career go from the football physio strength conditioning role?
It's basically, I'm still doing physiotherapy private clinic.
Yeah.
Well, not now, but up until the lockdown.
Yeah, doing hands-on from 2 meters plus, it's a little bit of a ball ache.
And you still get people contact you and say, you know, are you still doing the physio one? No, you can't. You know?
I'm getting people ask me to do bloods. I'm like, really? You want me to throw a needle across the room and you know, kind of unbelievable. I mean, I'll do what I can. We can only do what we can, but I think there's a lot of people just not getting an understanding or respect for the situation. No. So it is a bit mad that they think that you can do hands-on, because you're like me, mate. You're old school. You're not going to plug somebody in and walk away. You know, you work with people, you do the diagnostics. And maybe let's have a little chat about that, how physiotherapy seems to have, in my eyes, certainly, from as an outsider, but I've done biomechanics and massage and bits and bobs, nothing to the level you've done. What do you feel about how physiotherapy as a profession and as a skill has changed over the years since you got into it? Because I think it's gone quite impersonal, hands off again, kind of plug and play.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have so many people come to see me that their issues haven't resolved, and when you talk, you take the history and you get in depth. They've been to see physios, they've been to see chiropractors, they've been to see osteopaths, and a lot of the time, especially more so with physiotherapy, they're put on machines, they're put on interferential, they're put on ultrasound, 10 minutes of ultrasound here, and they're given generic exercises to do. Got a knee problem, you roll up a towel, stick it under your knee, straighten your leg 10 times, do that 5 times a day, your knee will be okay.
Yeah.
Well, in 6 months' time, when natural healing is taking place, provided there's no long-lasting scarring or anything, it really, I find it really difficult to understand how somebody can assess somebody or really diagnose somebody without getting hands-on.
Yeah.
Feeling the joint moving, feeling the muscles working, seeing where the problem could be, doing full, in-depth, subjective and objective examinations,
Yeah, and it is an examination. I mean, again, I did a biomechanics course with a company years ago. It was through Loughborough, but a very intense week with chiropractors, osteopaths. And it was all hands-on assessment, range of movement, doing drop tests, step down tests and everything. And, like doing detethering of nerves. But I mean, it was literally full days once we'd done the underpinning knowledge and stuff of hands-on. And yet, I've been for treatments to people because when I network with people of excellence, I mean, certainly if I was anywhere near you, Ipswich is frigging miles away from Birmingham, but I'd be referring people to you because I know you, and I only ever refer to people that I know. And if I don't know them, but I've heard a good reputation, I'm going to go and get a treatment. I'm going to basically work covertly undercover. I mean, by the end of it, I'll speak to them about who I am, what I do. But I've been to some people who potentially, could offer great services, but they seem to have got lazy with the industry. Whereas you and me have continued, kind of working hard, raising our game. I'm constantly on CPD courses, seminars, but I love the face-to-face. So I'm very much affected by this because even the seminars that I go to, I know the webinars are good, but I want to be in the room. I want to ask the questions. I want to feel the passion from the presenter. And as you said there, I mean, I think when I spoke at Functional Sports Nutrition Academy, for some people are like, who is this guy? But for people like yourself, there was George Ferrios, there was Paul Aaron, all of you came to study with me because you were all experienced in the industry. Both George is a natural bodybuilder and Paul is, ex-British champion and stuff in bodybuilding. But with a great understanding of the depth and complexity of the human body. Whereas other people, they just want to fast track. And I think even with high-level professions like yourself, physio, to fast track something like that, I mean, I've seen physios who have come out and osteopaths and stuff as well, who have come out of years of uni. And I don't know, they just don't even seem to know the basics.
No.
They're machine operators. Like you said, it's all ultrasound and this and Faradic and God knows what. And it's like...
Everything is done from the textbooks. And we saw it a lot in football, getting lads coming in fresh from uni, either physiotherapy degrees or sports science degrees, exercise physiology degrees, whatever that might be. And the first thing I used to say to them, right, put your books away. Now you're in the real world. The books help you pass an exam. Now, in the real world, understand people. You're working with people. You're not only working with the knee, you're working with the knee that's attached to a person that has issues, especially in sport where they need to get back. Team sport, are they going to lose their place in the team? So it's all psychological issues along with it as well. Whether you want to deem that as mental health issues these days would be probably come under that umbrella now. But you're not just dealing with the knee. So therefore, I've learned I have to give these exercises for a knee. It's not. It's a whole holistic approach.
And then the knee problem might be coming from somewhere else.
Absolutely.
Massively. And if you don't address that, people get too blinkered and zeroed in. So
weak glutes transferring into a medial issue at the knee.
Of course, yeah. Because if you've got internal and external rotation, the knock-on effect is at the knee, but because of as you said, they're weak glutes or external rotators. So, nutrition-wise and stuff like that, because I know we keep in touch. Stu is the consummate professional, so when things maybe get a little bit technical and he's working with medical issues and bloods, even at the very highest level that he works at, and he really does, he's on the phone to me, and it's always Cain, can I just ask a quick question? The quick question takes 55 freaking minutes. But I love who he is and the fact that he is checking with me, because it's not always asking me to give him the answer. It's, validating what he's come, to as a conclusion. He, runs a test. He's had the training to work with a high-level test with DNA and bits and bobs, the urine test for hormones or whatever it might be. But he wants to just double check, which to me means a lot, because I want to know that those are the people I'm putting out in the industry or that are already in the industry and helping them raise the game. So how much of that are you doing now, or were you prior to freaking the craziness in the world, as compared to, the physio work?
I'm doing more and more of the nutrition stuff, which is where I want to go. That's where my passion is.
Mm-hmm.
In the whole, whether you call it functional medicine or whether we call it nutritional, aiding to healing and being, optimal health.
Right.
As as we've done your course. I think it's the way forward. I think personal nutrition, personal medicine is the way forward. And on your recommendation, I've done the DNA course with Amaro in January, which was, I sat there for a lot of the time and it was going.
Yeah, it's a deep course. I mean, I did a course years ago with another company. I've mentioned this on another one. But we did one day and it was all personal trainers in the room. There must have been 60, 70 people. Most of them had no right to be there. They couldn't spell DNA, and even the acronym, the letters. And we literally spent, I'm not exaggerating, about an hour and a half on the profiles. I think there was 3 profiles from that particular company at the time. They've gone quite big, so I don't want to mention who they are, but it was all about how much you can earn, how to market, profit margin. In contrast, when Amaru came over, which is Nordic Labs, and I will plug them because I use them and I know you've trained with them. Phenomenal lab, great reputation, and he is, he's a bit special, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
The way his brain works, it's just wired at higher frequency. But I did a course, having known Amaru since 2004. We did the respective studies on something called Udo's Choice Oil, which is a blend of organic oils 369, and we've done lectures together. But I went as his student, and in contrast, there were, I think, 5 of us in the room, all with years of experience as nutritional practitioners, functional medicine specialists, whatever. And we did 4 days, so it was 1 day per profile. And the depth was phenomenal. So a different level. And I've done that course with him since. And as you know, we've put the course on. He flies over to Birmingham, and then you've done the course. Did you do it in London?
Yes, yeah.
So the depth and the difference is not about the so-called certification. It's about understanding the complexity, the interpretation, the application of that information. Because the first course I did, this 1 day joke. We had some tests done, at discounts. And, because they wanted us to work with their own results. And the generic report they sent out, well, the 2 people that were on it with me were students of mine, both went on to compete. One won at his first ever go, the overall British Championships in men's physique in a natural bodybuilding competition. And the other lady who'd been overweight her whole life got 8th and 9th at the World Championships at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. Their DNA both said, give up. You're never going to be a bodybuilder. You might as well take up endurance running. I don't follow the rules, I make them. So we just went, well, screw you. So the problem is people read these things too, kind of generically and take the script that comes through the post as a report as, God-given. And this is why, we study with people like Amaru, because the first thing is like, you've got to cross-reference this with bloods, or urine or whatever it is. This is the reality of the current situation. Then what does a person want to achieve? And it might be they need to apply smarter, harder, more disciplined principles. But we can be, same as in life, in academia, whatever, you can be anything you want to freaking be. We shouldn't set these limits according to a poorly interpreted test. It's not that the test and the SNPs being measured are, inaccurate or the test is insensitive. It's that the people feeding that information back to the clients, the practitioners, are poorly trained. So I know the course that you did, mate, was full on, but, you, like me, are going to appreciate that challenge, and what we come out with afterwards is just a new level of understanding and respect for freaking hell. There's so much I don't know. The more we learn, the more we realize we don't know. We're just starting.
And that leads me on to why I always, come back to you. I do understand the limit of my knowledge, and I'll never try and work outside of that in anything. So if you don't know, you ask. Doesn't mean you're a bad practitioner.
Not at all, mate. I mean, if you look at what's happening with the coronavirus, I read a really good article, very in-depth, very scientific, and it was to do with the separation of heme iron from red blood cells causing toxicity around the body and liver. And then we looked at the detox pathways. You had to have a good, kind of knowledge about human physiology and immunology and detox pathways and stuff to even kind of read through the article. But the first thing I did was go, okay, kind of makes sense. I can see how this, but there's so many different theories. So I sent it off to some top people from BioCare. I sent it to Amaru. I sent it to Alessandro Ferretti, who's a phenomenal lecturer and works in his own practice as well as through lecturing for BioCare. If he's ever got any talks on, mate, go and see him. He's phenomenal. And I wanted to validate my little, kind of conclusions and thoughts on that article, because these people work at a higher level in that area than me. And it's just showing respect, not necessarily just for them, which I do, but for what I deliver and the people that I deliver to. So when I'm going to deliver to you guys as students or as clients, I need to know that I'm right. I need to know even the stuff that I'm putting out might be challenging to some because it's very different. We've got this whole thing of cognitive dissonance where people, want to put up blinkers and don't want to hear because it's not what, they've been told before. But if I'm going to raise my game, a lot of it is led by wanting to deliver the best to you and make a difference to your life. It's why I say that I teach the truth. And no doubt when I gave that talk in London at Functional Sports Nutrition Academy, well, some of you got in touch and went, right, I want to study here. Some of you are like, whoa, don't know about this guy, because it challenged what they'd learned from a generic textbook, as you said. But I think what you do is brilliant, mate. So, going on that course of DNA, I'm guessing is not the last course that, you're going to do. What areas do you want to move into? Where do your passions lie for the future?
I've mentioned to you a few times about doing more blood work.
Yeah.
Getting into that and get more understanding of, I can do a few basics from bloods, but like when I do get a blood one, I'd always consult you on it. I'd like to know more about that. All these sort of courses. I mean, the mental health side of things is huge, and it's going to be even bigger.
Yeah, it is very important, but nowadays, what's going on, mate? Bloody hell. I mean, because I teach that, but I've been involved in that, especially with veterans, but it's affecting, and it's going to touch everybody now. I mean, there's people on meltdown because they're in isolation. Nobody even knows. That's the scary thing.
Yeah. So I see so many of my patients or clients that have anxiety issues, anything from mild anxiety up to deep-rooted, depressive issues. And it seems as though everybody touches on it somewhere. And so I think that's important, and how we can help, with lifestyle changes, good nutrition. And I'm sure you see people like I do, they come to you, they're overweight, and then you do go through questioning and doing your history taking and all that, and come onto nutrition and go, oh yeah, I eat well. And you look at it and you think, well, you're 4 stone overweight. I can see you eat well. But what do you eat well?
Yeah.
And everybody tells you they eat well, until you see what they actually write down on the food diary, and you think, oh God, who's told you this?
That's the thing, isn't it? Where are they getting this information? I mean, if you look at the government-led food plates or pyramids or whatever you want to look at, or what some people are teaching as so-called qualification courses, it's scary, like you said, what they consider to be good food. And at the moment, you touched on it there, for mental health, physiology leads psychology. And if you're looking at people being, and I believe in the, stay healthy, stay safe thing, but we need to get out as well. We need to move. We need to exercise. We don't need to be going to the gyms and working, the latest fandabidozi, multiple angle bloody leg press. we need to be out in fresh air, because for mental health, movement is important. Fresh air, vitamin D3 from the sun is important. Good nutrition, vitamins, minerals are important, supporting the immune system. And we basically need to go back to, well, look, I'm wearing a t-shirt that's celebrating for this Friday the 8th of May, VE Day. You know what? I'm not saying go back to war years with rationing and getting shot at, but around that era when people moved more and ate real food, you know what? If this virus had hit then, and you've got the whole thing, as I said, take out rationing and this, that, and that. But people were more robust, I think. And nowadays, there's a lot of people going to have issues with their immune system, but also the mental health is because self-isolation isn't about watching Netflix for 18 hours a freaking day, and this is why I want to put these things out so people have some information for free, giving out free PDFs on my website and this, that, and the other, because, the carnage that we're going to have to deal with afterwards isn't about people losing a bit of muscle or putting a few pounds on. It's about their mental state. And a lot of people may have underlying, kind of vulnerabilities, and this is going to bring them to the fore, mate. But what we do exercise and nutrition wise is going to offset that a lot, and I think that's important if we can encourage them. So how are you working at the moment? Obviously the physio hands-on is really difficult. How are you working with clients at the moment? How is your business?
At the moment I'm doing free online sessions.
Brilliant.
So I'll do an early morning one with 7 a.m. and I'll do a 6 p.m. one.
Okay.
Just 25 minutes of exercise, which I do Zoom.
Yeah, brilliant.
And just involve, things that you got around the house, broom handle, something to hold. It might be a shopping bag full of a few books.
Cool. Yeah, brilliant.
That you can lift like a kettlebell, and just stuff that you got around the house, so we can do exercise and keep people moving, but also keep people engaging.
Yeah, that's important.
So, if you got, you get 3 or 4 people all come into the same session, you introduce them, they start talking.
Right.
It's a group thing as well as an exercise thing. So it's kind of trying to do that to keep people going.
That's great, because this thing about social distancing, I think we need to really emphasize it's physical distancing. Yeah. Although if you go to the local supermarket, you don't always frigging abide by that. People reaching over you for a frigging avocado or whatever.
I've got a mask on, I'm safe, I can do what
Yeah, I'm masked and gloved, I've got frigging face shit, I don't care what people think of me, mate. If they don't have any respect for the current situation, then I'm going to basically cross the road to get away from them. Literally, I mean, even Oscar has a sense to do that. People walking down with their phone, completely oblivious to the fact we're coming the other way. It's not like you can't see us. A 6'2" guy dressed as freaking Batman or Thor with a 5 meter Union flag, and they still don't see because they're in their own little world. So the PPE thing I've invested in. Don't worry about that. It's important that we take that responsibility, but we need to socially interact and support those that might be in a bit more isolation. I spend a lot of time on my own because I have Oscar half the week, which is phenomenal. Apart from that, I basically see and speak to no one, which is not. Thanks, mate, for having a chat with me today. Otherwise, I'm freaking going to go stir crazy. So we need to do that and doing that stuff in the groups, because those people can then, I guess, connect with each other and give people support, because a virtual hug as opposed to a physical one is going to go a long way at the moment. And it's great that you understand that and that you're giving your time free, mate, because it's very generous. There's nothing more precious than time, but you throw your expertise and experience into that, then that's worth a lot, pal. So I'll thank you for that. I might not join you at 7 a.m, but at 6 p.m. I might tune in.
I mean, I record the sessions and then put them out as well, so you can log into the recorded session.
Brilliant. So on that, because I'd love to give you a bit of a plug and let people contact you. If people want to work with you, I mean, certainly they can do it remotely now. And then, this is going to come to an end. This too shall pass. So we'll get in the real world and you can do your hands-on stuff. What's the best way for people to contact you? How do you prefer to, make contact with people and have a chat? WhatsApp, email? Have you got websites, Facebook?
Phone. I'd like to talk to people.
Great.
So you're more than welcome to put my phone number out.
You happy with that? Okay, I'll put that up. Cool.
Absolutely. Facebook, you know, if people prefer to contact me, Facebook is fine.
So what's your Facebook, mate?
I've got two. I've got Stuart Ayles, just, you know, Facebook, and then there's Hit Zone Ipswich.
Hit Zone Ipswich.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll make sure I put the link there, but Hit Zone Ipswich, folks.
Yeah.
Because this man has a range of skills. He really, really does. So, you know, and if you can look back at the recordings as well, because, you know, there's a lot of people putting a lot of nonsense out there. So please, folks, you know, use your filters, work with, you know, experienced, qualified, properly qualified professionals, and you're getting it for free anyway. So why would you look at the junk stuff that's out there? You know, this man's offering good stuff like myself. So, you know, be a bit more fussy about which programs you're following and who you're listening to. So where do you see this madness going as far as your career? I mean, has it changed how you think about what you might do in the future? Because you know my thoughts of online correspondence and stuff, but I am teaching the first aid for mental health course. It's going really well, very in depth. Got 4 great people, Alexandra and Nicole, you know, from a lot of master classes, and I got 2 other good people that do a lot of kind of work in the community and with charities. One's ex-forces. So I've found a way that I can do this, but still keep, you know, the congruence and integrity of what I've done for the last 27 years. Has it kind of changed your view on what you might do in the future? Or, you know, because I can't wait to get back to meeting real people and doing the bloods and going into class. But, you know, this works to a certain level. What's your thoughts on how your profession and the industry as a whole, health, fitness, nutrition, physio, everything, how do you think it's going to change?
I think it could change dramatically. And I think I need to introduce an online service just to keep going forward in the future. I've done a couple of online nutritional consultations. They're tough because you need that person in front of you, don't you? You need to talk, you need to interact, you need to, and you can kind of tell, looking at somebody, if they're giving you the full truth.
Cool. I love that you say that, mate, because even with the correspondence at distance, remote, wherever you want to call it, communication and consultations, which I've been doing a few as well, I still insist that on camera, whether it's Messenger, whether it's Zoom, whether it's, you know, WhatsApp, I don't want to just do it on the phone. I definitely don't want to do it by, you know, just swapping emails, because I want to look into somebody's eyes, because, you know, especially, you know, I'm an NLP master practitioner. So even if you haven't studied that kind of stuff, you can tell by facial expression, you know, body language and stuff, you know, when somebody's blagging, and you can't get that in an email, and you can misinterpret their tone, etc. So, you know, the power of a webcam and a mic is phenomenal. But I think you're right. I mean, and, you know, sadly, when people say, oh, well, you know, within 6 months the virus will go away, understand something about this, folks. This is never going away. We're going to get second, third phase, you know, you're going to get resurgence over the years and stuff. And it might be quite minor. It could be even more major than this one. But, you know, look at bubonic plague, Black Death. There's still areas of the world that it pops up every now and again. You know, so when people go, oh, everything will be back to normal in 6 months. Really?
It might be a new normal.
Yeah, it will be a new normal. A new normal.
I mean, one of the things, I mean, I think the industry as a whole, Cain, I think is, at times it's embarrassing to be involved in. I think you can see the trend of online sessions, everything, Orange Fitness, all this stuff in America, it's all virtual.
Yeah.
You know, the bikes, the Peloton, you know, all these virtual workouts. And I think that's, you know, you might even go into a studio and there won't be an instructor.
Yeah.
There'll be a screen up there and there'll be a virtual workout. You can go in, log in at whatever time, you know, and there'll be classes throughout the day. And you can go in, grab your bike, grab your piece of equipment and do what the guy or the girl on the screen is telling you to do. So I think there's going to be a change that way, and this may accelerate that change.
Yeah.
But from a personal perspective, I'm a people's person. I need to work with people hands-on, you know, and talk to them, communicate with them, you know, and be there for them because it's not just a case of, right, I'll write this down, go and eat that.
No.
Come back and see me if it doesn't work. you know more than me, obviously. Nothing's set in stone, and you have to tweak things and change things. And you know, life's not straightforward.
No, it's not a straight line, is it? It's not.
Yeah. So you know, emotions come into play, and
Mm.
life changes, and all stresses come into play to change things. So I want to continue as much as I can, face to face, hands on with people. And one of the things I'm hoping will come out of this, whether it does, whether I don't know, and I might be totally wrong, but I feel because of the way nutrition has gone and lifestyle's gone in the last 40 years, you know, fast food, eating way too much inflammatory food in our diets, our immune systems are depressed anyway, or suppressed, should I say. I'm hoping people will come out of this think, well, if I'm a little bit healthier, I look after my immune system, when it does come back or another virus comes back, I'm able to cope with it better. My body can cope with this better than rather than living off takeaways, you know, omega-6s everywhere, raised inflammation in the body, and then the body can't deal with the virus when it comes along. You know, so I'm hoping that people will change their mindset and think, right, I need to be a bit healthier.
No, I think you're right, and because people are being forced to buy food and cook it. I mean, some people are losing their freaking minds about, you know, McDonald's being closed. There's one at the top of my road. Even Oscar, when we go past, he goes, "Boo, McDonald's." You know, if people are being forced into the kitchen and it changes their habits and behaviour, now some of them are going to be queuing, you know, round the freaking block. I think I've heard that some KFCs have opened drive-throughs and they're queuing for like 3 hours. It's like, well, and I know some places are doing, you know, deliveries and stuff, but I see a lot of, I see a lot of articles also going out online on social media about the awareness of the immune system, about getting your vegetation in, about getting your antioxidants. So for those that want the information, there's some good stuff out there, but please, please, please make sure it's a reliable source and the person that's sharing that information isn't just spouting some blog. You know, they should be interacting. They should be backing up what they're saying. They should, and it'll be obvious if they have an understanding and depth of knowledge or not. But I think you're right. I think those that want to see the truth, who want to learn about, okay, how can I be more resilient? How can I support my immune system? You know, the information, almost overload is phenomenal. So we do need to filter out the good stuff. But I think it could, for a lot of people, make a change for the better. But you're going to get those who are just can't wait to, you know, hit Wetherspoons, a greasy kebab, and it's just, you're not going to change the world. You know, it is what it is. But I think our industry is going to change forever. There's going to be some people who are going to realize, and finances come into it. A lot of people have been hit hard. I know I have. I'm sure you have. So people have to have, you know, a financial responsibility to not go in debt. But once everything levels out there with the economy, people like you and me who are delivering quality stuff, you know, I think we could be in demand. The trouble is the industry is going to be even more saturated with, you know, wannabes. It's going to be hard for people to differentiate. And I think that's why I wanted to get you on today. You know, you are a level heads and shoulders above 99% of the people out there, mate. And yet you, like me, are not stopping. You've just done the DNA course. You're talking about doing bloods. I know we've talked about that, and I'll help you with that. You know, because it's about which bloods would you recommend, the interpretation and the application of that with their goals, current lifestyle, any complications that, you know, might arise. Most people wouldn't have a clue about that level of service. So, you know, I personally want to say thanks, not just for coming on today and having a chat, but for what you do, mate, for what you share, for your integrity and your professionalism. And if there's anything, you know this, if I can do anything to help, I'll be here, whether it's on the end of the phone or whether it's doing some virtual teaching or whether it's, you know, thank you, please, universe, get us back into a classroom so I can, you know, give my, you know, give my best, because I bring, and I can't help it, a certain passion into the classroom. I can share a bit of that on Zoom and stuff. Nothing like being in the room. But, you know, you feel it, I feel it when I sit and study with somebody like Amaru or like Alessandro, or, you know, a team from Biocare. They're not reading the script, you know, they're not death by PowerPoint. They know this material, and I'll give him, you know, some credit. And he's got a lovely testimony he gave me, which I've got on my website. The guy that got me into this, the guy that lit my fire. And there's been quite a few. I've studied with Poliquin and Paul Check and Udo and stuff. But a guy called Stephen Taras, and he's got his own, you know, awesome, you know, all natural organic supplement company now, Terra Nova. But Stephen Taras was the technical director at Biocare, and I'm talking going back to 92, 93. Just come out of the Air Force, traveled around the States for a few months, and then worked for WIDA. And when I saw him present and educate on behalf of Solgar, I was like, wow, because he never looked at a note, never looked at a slide, he just knew it. But he spoke with an understanding of human nature, applying complex science in a way that people could understand. And I was like, I want to do what he's doing, man. Yeah. And then years later, we got in touch. And I've seen him a few times over the years, and he left Solgar years ago. And he worked in private practice, and now I said he's got this phenomenal brand that goes around the world. And when I said thank you, it was like, yeah, but you know, look at what you're doing with it. You're applying it. I was like, but he was the spark. And it wasn't just his knowledge, it was how he shared it, and his enthusiasm was absolutely genuine. I would love to think that's what I deliver, but when you deliver, mate, I mean, I'll go back to that talk you gave on the nutrition course for the thyroid, but you went in depth, then you made it really accessible to the people in the room, because they were sitting there like you probably were with the Maru. They were going, this is just going over my head. But you were talking with a depth of understanding about reverse T3 and TPO and thyroglobulin antibodies. And most of them are going, whoa. And then you went, but it means this, and here's your handouts, and here's the explanation. And I couldn't help but be impressed, mate, because most people don't go to that level, even on my courses, which I demand, you know, excellence. But you went over and above, and I know that's what you deliver on a daily basis. So I want to say thanks, pal.
I knew I had to work with you.
Say again?
I knew I had to do it with you.
But you were outstanding on that day. You still blew, you know, all the other students away. And they were good, don't get me wrong. But this is it. If I set you a bar, you want to clear it, not just clip it and land safe, you know. For some people, if that bar stays on the holders.
Looking forward to getting back into the classroom with you. And
oh, don't worry, I'm not retired yet. I'm looking like it with the grey hair and stuff. But, you know, I can't wait to get back out there, mate.
I've done a few of the webinars, Biocare and Nordic and things. And it's good. It's great stuff. They're delivering really in depth.
Yeah.
And some I'm getting, some I'm not. But it's not the same as being there.
No.
You know, where...
Well, you know me, I love to ask questions. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure some people, when they see me in the class, if they're the tutor, go, oh my God, it's him. What's he going to come out with? And, you know, I'm not doing it to be a smart ass. I really want to know the depth of understanding. And if I ask a question, and especially if I'm kind of putting a point of view, and I know that they're in that subject matter a level above me, and they validate what I'm saying, I'm like, yeah, got it. You know, because then I know with confidence I can deliver it to you. I never want to, you know, share something with my students or on a webinar or on a Zoom, but especially in the classroom on my qualification courses, unless I'm absolutely freaking sure that, yeah, what I'm saying, this is fact, this is the truth. And you get that in the room. You don't always get that on a webinar. So, you know, hopefully we can have a catch up, mate. It'd be nice to share a black coffee or a fizzy water or something a little bit stronger. And I do plan on putting some more masterclasses on, because the weekends I put in Birmingham, I've really enjoyed, I've learnt, but also seeing, you know, the gratitude and satisfaction of people like yourself. And it's challenging, you know, when you do a full weekend with the Maru and I do a little bit of kind of, you know, stand up and help out, you know, I see the look on people's faces. We're all exhausted by the end of the weekend because learning, you know, at that level is tiring. But, you know, what we come out at the end of it with, you know, it's like a hard physical workout. You know, at the end of it, oh my God, never want to do that again. But a day later, you're like, that was awesome, man. I feel better. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. So trust me, as and when we can, and I might try and sort something with a couple of the people via a Zoom thing. It will be a closed group because, you know, I do want to make sure that the people are capable, like yourself, so we can go to that higher standard. So watch your space, mate. Hopefully I'll be able to liaise with a few people and get some stuff going. I've spoke to Amaru about doing one of these talks, by the way, one of these interviews. So I'm going to put him on the spot and see what he can offer us, you know, to do another masterclass. So we maybe talk about bloods, and as you know, I do a lot of the blood work, mainly working through the doctor's lab in London. So we could get you to get access to that. So fingers crossed, we'll get something rolling in the next month or two.
Fantastic.
So thanks. What's your plans for today? Have you got clients? You got work? You got to chill?
I've got another live session later this evening. In the meantime, I've got some studying. I've got to, like most people, chasing people to make sure that the bills are paid, and trying to get the loans going out and all that rubbish.
Yeah, we've got to try and keep our frigging head above water while the legs are pedaling like a frantic duck, haven't we? So, but thank you for today, mate. Thank you for what you do, and we will, meet up soon. But give me the impetus today to get something going with. Say again, mate. Sorry.
Thank you for giving me a passion for what you do and giving that passion to me, mate.
Mate, well, the thing is, it was there, mate. You wouldn't have been in the class in the first place. But this is why, I will only work with people that I think have got that, as opposed to just delivering for a wage packet or the sake of it. This isn't about self-publicity. This is about, we do deliver a huge change and improvement to people's lives in various aspects and disciplines, be it nutrition, be it psychology, be it, the first aid for mental health, be it physio, be it, movement from a rehab level up to a Olympic level or professional sport. When we put ourselves out there, we know we can deliver. But, when we're out of that classroom, that gym, that camera, like you said there, you're straight back in the books and studying. So, it's what about, it's about, personal pride, if you want to call it. That's not ego, but it's about being proud about what you do. So I'm proud of you, mate. Have a great day. We'll have a catch up, and then I'll get this put out, and we'll make sure we give you a nice plug. So folks, get in touch with Stu. He's a great man, consummate professional, and hopefully he can help you out. So thanks again, mate. Take care.
Cheers, Cain. You're a legend.
Cheers, mate. Bye, mate.
Bye-bye.